You're standing in Best Buy. The OLED wall is glowing. Colors look unreal. Blacks look infinite. The sales tag says $1,299. Limited time. And it feels like you just found a steal. But here is what most people do not realize before they pull out their credit card. Retailers often carry exclusive model numbers that look completely identical to the premium version. Same box, same brand, same screen size. But quietly cut brightness or processing power to hit a lower price point. Demo mode settings in those stores crank brightness to levels you will genuinely never use at home. The TV is performing for you, not for your living room. And sometimes that massive sale, the one with the big red tag screaming $700 off, is just a price correction on a weaker variant that was never worth the original price to begin with. Under showroom lights, almost every OLED looks stunning. Put it in your living room at 2 in the afternoon with sunlight coming through the window. That is where the truth shows up. Some OLEDs are absolutely worth every dollar. Others are overpriced, underpowered, or hiding compromises you will not discover until you have already mounted it on the wall and tossed the box. Today we are ranking 12 major TV brands you will find at Target, Costco, Walmart, Best Buy, and Amazon. From the worst OLED traps to the ones that are genuinely worth buying. We are going worst to best, so stick around, because the top 3 are going to surprise some of you. Let's start with the ones that look premium, but really are not. Number 12, Insignia, Best Buy house brand. Number 12, Insignia. And if you have walked into a Best Buy recently, you have seen this one. It is usually stacked high near the front entrance, price tag front and center, designed to catch your eye before you even make it to the good stuff. Here's the problem. Insignia does not actually make OLED panels. These are LED and QLED sets, and they are being marketed in a way that can make casual shoppers think they are stepping into premium territory. They are not. The local dimming on these sets is weak, and weak local dimming means blacks are not really black, they are gray. You will notice it the first time you watch anything in a dark room. The Fire TV operating system comes loaded in, and while it works fine, it is heavy on ads and sponsored content right on your home screen. And in terms of long-term durability, the data is limited, which is its own kind of warning sign. People who buy Insignia at lower price points, we're talking under $400 for a bedroom or a dorm room, they are generally fine with it. The regret shows up when someone pays a premium price expecting premium performance. That is when the reviews turn. In a brightly lit showroom, this set looks totally acceptable. In a dark room on movie night, the gaps become hard to ignore. If that is the obvious budget trap, the next one is more dangerous because it actually pretends to be premium. Number 11, Amazon Fire TV Omni Series. Number 11, the Amazon Fire TV Omni Series. Great price tag, genuinely dangerous expectations. Amazon has put real engineering into this one. The HDR brightness is strong, stronger than you might expect at this price. Mini LED backlighting gives it punch. On paper, the specs read well. And that is exactly what makes it a trap for people who shop on specs alone. In dark scenes, the ones that really matter if you watch movies or prestige TV, you get blooming. That is when the backlight bleeds around bright objects against dark backgrounds. Bright subtitle text on a black screen, for example, will have a visible halo around it. It is not a deal breaker for everyone, but it is noticeable once you see it. Then there is the software. Fire OS pushes sponsored content. It is persistent, and panel consistency is an issue, meaning 2 identical boxes from the same retailer can produce slightly different results. That kind of variance is frustrating when you are spending real money. Casual streamers who want a big, bright screen for reality TV and sports, they tend to be happy enough. Enthusiasts, People who paid close attention to what they were getting often return it. Bright, affordable, not actual OLED competition. Now we step into brands that are claiming genuine premium territory. Number 10. Sharp. Number 10. Sharp. And if you are old enough to remember Sharp televisions from 15 or 20 years ago, you probably have some nostalgia for the brand. They were serious players. They have been working their way back into the US market, but right now, they are not back on top. Sharp's OLED presence is thin. Most of what you will find from them is mid-tier panel work, average brightness, firmware updates that are sparse and slow to arrive, and limited stock at major retailers. If you find a Sharp TV at Walmart or Target, you are looking at a curiosity more than a recommendation. People who buy Sharp tend to be drawn in by the name, recognition, and the price point. The enthusiasm fades pretty quickly once they start comparing picture quality side by side with other sets in the same range. It is a comeback story. The problem is the comeback has not really arrived yet. The next brand actually tried OLED and stumbled. Number 9. Vizio. Number 9. Vizio. And this one stings a little because Vizio had an interesting moment a couple of years back when they started flirting with OLED. Budget OLED felt like it could be a real thing. It was not quite what people hoped. The contrast on Vizio sets is decent. They are competitive on pricing in a way that is hard to ignore when you are standing in Walmart looking at a side-by-side comparison. But peak brightness on the OLED models runs lower than the competition, and SmartCast, Vizio's operating system, is sluggish in a way that you feel every single day when you turn the TV on. The firmware history has been rocky, with updates that sometimes introduce new problems while fixing old ones. Buyer sentiment on Vizio breaks down cleanly. When they go on deep discount, we are talking heavily reduced clearance pricing, people are satisfied. At full MSRP, the frustration comes through loud and clear in the reviews. It is a gamble, not a go-to. Now we move into a different category. Brands that chose not to compete on OLED at all, and instead pushed brightness so hard that the conversation gets interesting. Number 8. Roku Pro Series. Number 8. The Roku Pro Series. And look, Roku is not trying to be something it is not, which is actually kind of refreshing in this space. This is a strong mini LED television. The operating system is fast and clean, which sounds like a small thing until you have lived with a sluggish TV interface for 6 months and realize how much it affects your daily experience. Local dimming is good, not reference level, but genuinely good. Brightness is solid, and the pricing is competitive in a way that makes sense when you consider what you are getting. What you are not getting is OLED-level blacks. The contrast ceiling on mini LED, no matter how good the engineering, does not match what a true OLED panel produces. If that matters to you, if you watch a lot of film in dark rooms, you will feel the difference. But for a large portion of buyers, this is the right answer. It is reliable, it is easy to set up, it is easy to live with, and it does not ask you to become an enthusiast to operate it. Safe, solid, not cinematic elite. If brightness is the thing that matters most to you, the next brand pushes it dramatically further. Number 7, Hisense. Number 7, Hisense. And this one has genuinely shocked a lot of buyers who came in with low expectations. Hisense has built mini LED sets that hit over 2,000 nits of peak brightness. 2,000. That is not a typo. For a bright living room. Somewhere that gets real afternoon sunlight where a dimmer panel would wash out entirely. Hisense is doing something remarkable at its price point, but there are real trade-offs. Blooming is noticeable, particularly in darker content. Early in the product lifecycle, firmware bugs have been an issue. The kind of bugs that get patched out eventually, but make the first few months of ownership feel a little rough. And long-term reliability at this price, ranks, and spec level is something the market is still figuring out. There is not years of data to draw on the way there is with LG or Sony. The buyer sentiment is genuinely enthusiastic, with an asterisk. Performance for the money? Hard to beat. Long-term confidence? Still building. Incredible performance in bright rooms. Less polished as a long-term investment. Now we enter the brand that has been reshaping what value even means in this category. Before we go further, let's be honest about something. Because this is exactly where buyers get burned. Retail exclusive model numbers are a real thing. You will see a TV at Costco with a model number that looks almost identical to the version reviewed on every major tech site. But there will be a couple of different letters at the end. Those letters can mean a different panel, a lower brightness cap, different processing. The box looks the same. The price looks like a deal. It is not always the same television. And those massive sales, the $700 off, the biggest TV event of the year, sometimes that is a permanent price correction on a model that was always going to land at that price. The original number was never real. If knowing that already saved you from a bad Costco or Walmart decision, hit subscribe, because the next 6 brands might genuinely shock you. Number 6. TCL. Number 6. TCL. And this brand has done something that almost no one expected. They built a budget TV that legitimately forces the conversation about whether OLED is even necessary for most buyers. The QM8 is the model that made people stop and look twice. Mini LED brightness at a level that puts it into direct competition with mid-range OLED for HDR performance. The price-to-performance ratio under $1,000 is the strongest in the category right now. There are caveats. Panel lottery variance is a real thing with TCL. Some buyers get a unit that performs exactly as advertised, and others get one that falls a little short. It happens more than it should. And the Google TV version of the operating system has been slower and buggier than the Roku OS version. So which model you choose matters. But the core performance? Genuinely compelling. You get OLED-level wow factor on HDR highlights without paying OLED prices. What you do not get is OLED blacks. The darkest scenes will tell the truth. For most content, most of the time, most buyers will not care. The budget giant killer. Not perfect, but remarkable. Now we step into true OLED territory. No more mini LED comparisons. This is the real thing. Number 5, Panasonic. Number 5, Panasonic. And this one is probably the least known name on this list to the average American buyer, which is a real shame because enthusiasts have been quietly recommending Panasonic for years. The color accuracy on Panasonic's flagship OLED sets is reference level. That is not marketing language. That is how professional calibrators and cinematographers talk about these panels. The build quality is premium in a way that you feel when you are setting it up and every day when you look at it. The image processing is tuned specifically for film and television content, and it shows. The limitations are real, though. Panasonic is not widely stocked at Target, Costco, or Walmart. You are usually ordering online or visiting a specialty retailer. Pricing runs higher than comparable LG or Sony models, and name recognition is low enough in the US market that resale value reflects it. For a casual buyer walking into Best Buy, Panasonic is basically invisible. For someone who watches a lot of film and genuinely cares about color reproduction, it is a luxury pick that delivers what it promises. A cinephile's choice. Less of an everyday recommendation. Now we move to the brand that has built its reputation on something specific and does it better than anyone else. Number 4, Sony. Number 4, Sony. And Sony has earned its place in the upper tier of this list through one thing above almost everything else: image processing. The upscaling on Sony's OLED sets takes lower resolution content and makes it look better than it has any right to. The motion handling is the best in the consumer television business. If you watch sports or action films or anything with fast movement, Sony's processing does something that is genuinely difficult to describe until you see it on your own content in your own room. It is not perfect. Peak brightness runs slightly lower than what Samsung's QD-OLED panels produce, and the pricing is at the top of the range. Sony is not competing on value. They are competing on quality, and they charge accordingly. Buyer sentiment is consistent, expensive, rarely disappointing. That is a strong reputation to hold. Premium experience, premium cost, clear-eyed about both. Now we enter the top three. And the pace changes here, because these deserve a little more room. Number 3, Samsung. Number 3, Samsung. And Samsung did something genuinely bold when they committed to QD-OLED technology. A hybrid approach that combines quantum dot color with OLED's pixel-level contrast. The result is a television that produces color volume and brightness that stands apart from traditional OLED. The S90D has been aggressively priced in ways that make it one of the more interesting buys in the premium category. The S95D adds an anti-glare coating that makes a real difference in rooms with windows, the kind of room where traditional OLED panels can struggle. The trade-offs are worth knowing. Samsung does not support Dolby Vision, which matters if you watch a lot of content on platforms that use it. The Tizen operating system has improved, but it still carries advertising in ways that feel intrusive on a television at this price. Those are not deal breakers for every buyer, but they are real, vibrant, punchy, powerful, with trade-offs you should go in knowing about. Number 2, LG. Number 2, LG. And LG is, in a very real sense, the reason any of this conversation exists. They have been manufacturing OLED panels for consumer televisions longer than anyone else in this space, and that experience shows in almost every part of the product. The C4 is the model that has been making the most sense for most buyers. It balances picture quality and price in a way that no other OLED set has consistently managed. Peak brightness has improved significantly from earlier generations, and for gamers specifically, the 4 HDMI 2.1 ports means this is the most capable gaming television on the market. Full stop. The G4 pushes brightness further, into territory that starts to close the gap with what mini LED sets are doing at the top of the market, while maintaining everything that makes OLED worth buying in the first place. LG. OLEDs go on real discount at Costco and Amazon in ways that make the math work even better. Long-term panel reliability is backed by years of data, not promises. The safest OLED bet in this market, consistent, capable, and well-supported. Number 1, the smart buyer's pick, number 1. And here is where we tell the truth about the whole thing. The smartest buy in this space right now is not a single television. It is a decision. The LG C4 and the Samsung S90D represent the sweet spot. And depending on your room, your priorities, and what you are willing to live with on the software side, either one can be the right answer. Both deliver strong brightness. Both deliver the contrast that OLED technology produces at a pixel level. The kind of contrast that changes how dark scenes in movies actually look. Both use panels that are mature, well understood, and backed by real reliability data. And both can be found under $1,500 during major sale events if you are patient and paying attention. Buying OLED for a room with floor-to-ceiling windows and afternoon sunlight pouring in all day is like putting racing tires on a gravel road. Extraordinary technology in the wrong environment. OLED earns its reputation in rooms where you have control over the light. If that is not your situation, TCL and Hisense are not consolation prizes. They are genuinely good televisions. But if your room works for it, and your budget gets there, the LG C4 or the Samsung S90D are where the money goes. So here is what we actually found after going through all 12 brands. The traps are the house brands, and the aggressive budget plays, Insignia, Amazon's Omni series, sets that market themselves with premium language and land well short of premium results. Old discounted OLEDs that look like deals, but carry compromises you will live with for years. The solid middle is real. TCL, Hisense, and the Roku Pro series are not cutting corners for the sake of it. They are making different choices, prioritizing brightness over black level, value over prestige, and for a large portion of buyers in large, bright living rooms, those choices are completely right. Do not let anyone tell you Mini LED is automatically a downgrade. It depends entirely on how and where you watch. And the real winners, LG's C4 and G4, Samsung's S90D and S95D, Sony's A95L, Panasonic's flagship, those are OLED done the way it was supposed to be done. Pixel-level contrast, accurate color, image processing that actually respects the content you are watching. OLED is not hype. The technology is real and the difference is visible. But not every OLED is the same television, and not every living room is the right fit for one. The retailer is not your enemy here. Buying the wrong model is. Going in without knowing what the model number actually means is. Walking out with a display unit's demo settings in your head instead of what your home delivers, that is the real risk. If you are shopping right now, if there is a specific model you are considering, drop the model number in the comments. The full number, the letters at the end, and everything. We will tell you if it is a safe buy or a trap. And if this breakdown is the kind of thing that is useful to you, before you spend $1,000 the wrong way, subscribe. We do this for every major category, every major retailer, every time the market shifts enough to matter. See you in the next one.